So I made a promise to myself that once I found a reputable news outlet that liked Velma, I'd stop making videos about it. Well, it looks like the good people at Collider are going to finally help me make that promise stick. Who am I kidding? The good people at Collider. Oh god, let's see what these shills have to say about it, shall we?
The following is a world-class Bullshitters exclusive.
So if you've ever wanted a bad take on the internet, you go to Collider. They're the people that told you that I put in 10 years of being a Star Wars fan, so I deserve to go to Star Wars Galaxy Edge. They're the good people that like to put out articles why everything is perfect when it comes from Disney. They're the types of people that love to tell you Captain Marvel is the greatest movie ever made, and they're the type of people that love to tell you that the Star Wars sequel trilogy was better than the original trilogy, and that if something sucks, it's the fault of the fans. So Collider's a bullshit website, but they're fun to laugh at. Their take on Velma, however, might be one of the most cringe-inducing articles I've ever had to read on this channel. So folks, get ready, sit down, because this one's a doozy. Episode 1 of Velma begins with the characters calling out the gratuitous sex and nudity that is often found in pilot episodes, and then not carried throughout the rest of the show. Used simply as bait to draw viewers in and keep them watching. They say all of this whilst they are soaped up naked in a group shower, and just seconds after we see 2 cockroaches getting it on. They further discuss whether sex is necessary as a hook in an overcrowded market full of the secret perverts, or if it's enough to have a good story. The pilot episode of Velma, in a clear meta gesture, gives us a steamy shower full of naked girls and a naked fistfight, but not as senseless pandering to the lowest common denominator. Instead, it's a conscious creative choice, coupled with references they are mimicking. It's bloody funny. Velma's characters follow that by directly addressing the colorblind casting as a not-so-subtle middle finger to racist critics. While originally the Scooby-Doo gang was all white, it was the 60s after all, Velma shows much more diverse group of on-screen characters, and is also voiced by a diverse cast of voice actors. We then get a bunch of if this were a show jokes that let the audience know the writers of Velma know all the tropes, and they're here to subvert them. When Daphne and Velma are inches apart in anger, we get the line, if this was a show, it'd be super hot if you two kissed, which is Velma disparaging how often queer baiting is used as a hook on television. Velma replies, if this was a show, you'd be killed off for being horny, pointing out the terrible tropes of the mystery and horror genre, where a woman with even a modicum of sexuality is punished by being killed almost immediately, usually while topless. All of this happens in the first 3 minutes of the show, and it is comedy genius. Viewers can now feel confident that these writers know exactly what they're doing, and they can just relax and enjoy everything that is about to unfold. What the fuck? Next up, Velma is being questioned in an interrogation room regarding the murder of Brenda, where she expects to find a handsome detective whom she can annoy with her cool demeanor. Instead, she finds herself questioned by Daphne's mom, Linda, and Donna. Velma then makes an as-yet unexplained mysterious comment. I don't solve mysteries, not anymore, then stares off into space while music reminiscent of the X-File theme plays. This is a tongue-in-cheek version of a technique used in a lot of mystery shows to build suspense. In Velma, however, the writers use it to point out how ridiculous it often looks by having the detectives look on confused. At Brenda's funeral, Velma looks at how often women are blamed for violence against them, even their own deaths, by calling her the rare slut that did not deserve to be murdered. Velma also subverts the horror trope of a character deciding to investigate creepy events, like being swarmed by cockroaches while the audience screams at them not to. Velma is no ordinary main character. She sees something gross and immediately tries to bail. That sounds like a lot of other characters. After Velma tells Fred her backstory, he explains that he feels emotionally hooked and understands the stakes of her journey. This is to call out exposition scenes in television and movies where the writers have characters tell their histories to another character in order to fill in the audience. In a later scene, Velma and Norville, aka Shaggy, discuss the malt shop owner not being a friendly black man or a spicy meatball Italian, a reference to the conventional use of diverse characters as spiritual guides for the main characters in movies and television. They are not given any backstories or character traits for their own, they exist only to provide folksy wisdom. Hold on a second, let me stop this record. Are you telling me that this article is going to explain what the tropes are and why they're funny? This is the lamest, most This is just the lamest excuse I've ever heard. Well, it's funny, and let me tell you why. It's great, let me tell you why. If a show's funny, it doesn't need to tell you why. I get it. There's the elements of comedy. It's like that episode of King of the Hill where Bobby wants to go be a comedian. He wants to go to clown college. So Hank sends him to clown college, but it's this weird artistic clown. The ha and the guffaw and all this dumb shit. And so Bobby goes to the school talent show trying to use that comedy, and Hank knows he's nothing but a fucking weirdo. And that's what this comes off like. Instead of your traditional stand-up, I'm trying to think of somebody people like Bill Burr. Most of us like Bill Burr or Dave Chappelle. Those guys are fucking funny. It'd be like if at the end of the joke, Bill Burr goes, "You see why? I told you the joke. It's funny because it's true." You think that's what comedy is? No, that's what Collider thinks comedy is. That's what Velma thinks comedy is. I'm so happy that Collider is here. Not only to shill for Velma, not only to defend Velma, but to explain Velma to the masses. Folks, your opinions don't matter. If you gave it a 2 out of 10, fuck you. It's because you didn't understand this wonderfully complex, diverse show, and let's do it for you. Gee, thanks, Collider. You're the fucking morons, not us. When Velma's post-makeover scene is interrupted by someone calling bullshit, it's a nod to almost every single teen movie or TV show where a nerdy character transforms their lives by getting a makeover. Velma expertly skips this long and predictable arc where the main character realizes they don't need to change who they are for other people. Then finally, after Fred's takedown, Norva points out that the logic surrounding Velma's hallucinations feels a bit muddy. This subtly refers to the common practice of convenient storytelling where logic is pushed aside for dramatic effect. You mean like the entire existence of this show? All of these meta moments fit seamlessly into Velma and never detract from the story of who is killing women and removing their brains. Velma recognizes that viewers are intelligent and more aware of movie and television tricks than ever before, and gives them a smart comedy, heavy mystery they can easily enjoy. Well, it seems like it's a huge Herculean task to enjoy Velma because nobody on the planet outside of the Shills at Collider seem to like this show. I get it. You think we're retarded. Because we don't agree with you ideologically or don't like the shows that you like, instead of calling everybody racists and bigots, you all act like everyone's a fucking moron, when in reality, you guys are the guilty party. I have never seen something try to break this down. Next time on Collider, we're going to get an article that goes, this thing at the end of these words is called a period. When this appears, that's the end of a sentence. Roughly 5 of these make a paragraph. Don't forget to indent by hitting the tab button. That's what I'm expecting, to have your hand held through this shit. Now, what's going to happen when you watch Velma? Or, well, you're not watching Velma. I can't wait for the numbers to come out. This isn't going to be one of those, oh my god, Hate Watched Velma receives 45 billion downloads on streaming. It's going to be like, no, Velma did not get renewed for a second season. And then we're going to come back and go, did you expect it to? Really, after all of this bullshit, did you expect it to? Some people did, like Mindy Kaling. But, you know, it's just not going to happen, and I'm so heartbroken. Nobody likes to be talked down to, nobody likes to be treated like an idiot, and nobody likes Velma. So it's perfect that the show does all of these things. I think instead of trying to educate the audience, maybe this reviewer at Collider should stop, drop, shut them down, open up shop. No, hold on, let's go back. Instead of trying to educate the audience through your very poorly worded article, maybe educate yourself on subtlety, instead of commenting on it like this show. This article is about as blunt as this show is. It misses the thing called tact. It's talking about something as bluntly as possible. Fuck, Kevin Smith would be jealous. Blunt Man and Chronic, anybody? This show takes the cake. 2 final points I want to make. 1. All the reviews that we've talked about on this show, not one have talked about the race. This is the first article to talk about the identity politics stuff up front. Every other article talks about the quality of the show. This one puts it front and center. People have an issue and they're racist. And if you don't like it, you're a racist. And then it goes on to tell you why you're a fucking moron. So people like this, don't ever placate them. Don't bow to them. Don't try to think like them to please them. And they talk down to you all the fucking time. And I don't think Collider is worth a damn. Never did, never will. You see the big C? That stands for crap. And the other point I want to make about this show is I find that it's a little strange that the focal point is sex, commentary on sex, showing your characters in sexy situations for meta commentary, but then making your characters age very young. That is the part that is weird for me. I don't even need to really go into it, but shows like Big Mouth and other shows that feature these aged characters in this situation has always been awkward or uncomfortable to the point where I just turn it off. Bart Simpson isn't that raunchy, and there was a point in time where the President of the United States wanted to complain about, we don't need more of the Simpsons in this country. Look it up. He may have been quoting something like, we need more of the Waltons and less of the Simpsons, but I don't think you need the Waltons. I don't think you need Velma. The Simpsons, for some reason, seems more realistic. It's like the edgy content of the early 90s is just a little more realistic to how people of the world live today. And I doubt we'll ever get as extreme as the world of Velma because, yes, society is a parody of itself, but if we go that far, well, we're just irredeemable. I like to imagine there's still a little bit of hope, but with more shows like Velma coming out, that's a reflection of society. Well, I just want to break that mirror because we already have 7 years of bad luck. So folks, what I want to know today is, what do you think about this Collider article, as well as what do you think about Velma? Just 2 questions today. There's no third one. Fine. Third question. Who's your favorite Hanna-Barbera character? Mine is Johnny Quest. Or Space Ghost. There's a lot of them. Does Batman count since he was on the Super Friends? Well, that's not fair. But that's a topic for another day. So folks, do us a favor, hit that thumbs up button to let us know that you enjoy the content, but do yourselves a favor because you care about yourselves, you love yourselves. Hit that subscribe button because it's going to let you know when we put up new content. And it also gives you a reminder to go back into our archives and check out the 1,000+ videos that we've produced. Only a handful on Velma, and now that we've found the world's greatest take on the show, we're probably done. Unless something crazy pops up. So folks, thank you for watching. Be smart, be safe, be cool, but always be excellent to each other. Thanks for watching today's video. Yes, it's over, but don't cry because there's more, a lot more from World Class Bullshitters. And there's only one way to get it. Hit that subscribe button below. When you do that, you'll get notifications and updates from World Class Bullshitters every time we go live. Basically, you won't miss anything. And if there's one thing I hate, it's FOMO. But the thing most people hate more than FOMO is fear of missing out on World Class Bullshitters, because there's just some things you can't undo. So folks, do yourselves a favor and never miss anything from World Class Bullshitters. One last thing before you go, hit the thumbs up button. Not for our egos, no, they're big enough as this, but it does help us fight the algorithm here, and well, it's man versus machine, and that's the real fight. But if that's not your battle, that's okay. There's one last way you can help WCBS, and that's going over to shopwcbs.com, picking up a t-shirt, a beer glass, a sweatshirt, a poster, all sorts of ways to back WCBS. The difference between us and other YouTube channels is I'm the artist that makes all this stuff, so if you enjoy art beyond t-shirts, you can even read our comic books. We got it all. We're called the epitome of pop culture for a reason, and no, again, it's not for our egos. So folks, make sure you're involved with every aspect of World Class Bullshitters, not just for us, but do it for yourself. We're making the change in entertainment everybody out there wants to see. And a special thank you goes out to all of our wonderful patrons who make this content possible. Go to patreon.com/worldclassbs to get involved and help out the channel.